Kayla Cullen came on in that second quarter for the Mystics and made an instant impact, got a couple of really nice intercepts. But bearing in mind, Jolene Henry is still sitting on the bench, and we heard earlier that Tiara Hakinen is quite keen to play her at some stage. So we'll find out very shortly, and I'll pass you over to our commentators, Ricky Swinnell and Julie Coney.
Thanks, Tony. Yes, a lot of cut and thrust early on in this tournament, first stage, and there is the change. Jolene Henry on at goal defence for the Northern Mystics. She's been carrying an injury. I see my eyes see correctly. Jenny May Coffin in at centre for the Mystics as well. A lot of changes made for the Mystics. Temepara George has gone into wing attack. Coffin in at centre. Jolene Henry. Silver Fern in at goal defence.
Well, we talked about it. Grace Rasmussen really had her work cut out for herself against Monia Gerard, so it'll be interesting to see how George goes in there. So a very experienced mid-court.
An early start for the Thunderbirds, take the lead.
And we've got to make sure that we can contain them and make the most of all of our opportunities.
You're in a good position leading by one, but you have made some changes with Coffin and Henry coming on. Was that pre-planned?
That was, to a certain extent, pre-planned, but it was great to see Finau and Kayla do the job in the first half.
So 28 all back with the live action, and a couple of changes, or a change it looks at the end of the Thunderbirds court as well. Change at goal attack for the Thunderbirds. The Mystics now, those changes, those key changes, Julie, bringing in the experience of Henry and Coffin.
Well, that's right. She said it was sort of planned, so I wonder whether maybe one change was planned, but to make both, as we said, if Coffin wasn't available to come on, then she couldn't really change Rasmussen and George. So
we see heavy strapping on the right thigh of Coffin. Tutaia lands a nice early shot early in the second half. Mystics maintaining a 2-goal advantage early on, and Tutaia busy already.
Oh, yes and no. We really wanted to get Erin Bell out there and Shani into the game at some stage, and Joe. So with one down, we thought that they could offer us some fresh legs, and yeah, it's great to see them out there.
Big call for the spectators, Jane, to see Jo Sutton at wing attack rather than wing defence. How much experience does she have there?
Not a lot, but when we put her there in the Soper Cup, she was absolutely dominant. So she has played wing attack at State League in Sydney, and she's shown us plenty there already.
Jo Sutton, of course, we saw her in defence mainly last year, but as Jane Woodlands-Thompson says, not much experience in wing attack.
Yes, not the depth there, so it's interesting, isn't it? We've seen a couple of attacking players played in defence, and now defence and attack. So looking at swinging different areas of the court. I'm not sure I agree with it totally. I think players are much better off if you can play players in specialist positions.
Well, I just wonder if it's a sign perhaps of where the Thunderbirds are at in there with their attacking line. It's still a bit of a mix and match, and here is Erin Bell, who we see on at goal attack. She's been with the New South Wales Swifts, didn't get a lot of court time, made the move to the Thunderbirds, and now she's getting an opportunity early on as she lands a nice first shot for her new team.
Well, Beveridge, A, hadn't shot that consistently, and B, hadn't put many shots up. 5 from 9 were her stats when she left the court, Beveridge, from the goal attack position. And Erin Bell will just create a little more movement on attack. Of course, they're looking to fill that spot left when Medhurst went to the Firebirds. Natalie Medhurst was the goal attack last season for the Thunderbirds.
There is Sutton, the new wing attack, who looks so similar to Gerard. Thankfully at opposite ends of the courts now, but the ball rolls out and Henry comes away. We see the strapping on her left leg as well. And there she is driving through mid-court.
Lovely long ball, and that's what I talked about earlier. I felt that the Mystics could look up court a lot sooner and look for that ball in there. Henry does that. She does look early. And this is a good start in the third quarter for the Mystics. Remember, they were just 1 up going into the break.
There is that lovely long ball looking in up court, and Tutaia was all alone on the baseline. Mentor tries to slow things up and give away the penalty.
It was a lovely drive, great timing, a lot better timing for the Mystics on attack. So this change working well for them in the early stages. Here it is again, the long ball, beautiful space along the baseline from Tutaia.
It really is the forte of Henry. We've seen it in a black dress, and there's Byfield picking up where she left off. She's all over her fellow Jamaican Borrego. This time just couldn't quite drag it in, and the Thunderbirds will have another chance.
I can't help but reiterate that this is a really important game for these teams. Australia and New Zealand only play each other once, and if you can get an early game under your belt, especially these two teams who are both looking likely teams or likely picks for the top 4, then it's critical. That's the thing in this competition. Every team, every game is so important. For me, there are 7 teams, I think, at the moment that could make the top 4.
Absolutely, and that's what makes tipping it so difficult.
And those 3 that I haven't got in that possible solution are teams that could upset anybody on any given day.
Well, we saw teams like the Fever cause a few upsets last year. The Pulse will be interesting to see, but right now it's with Temepara George and the Mystics, and she pops back to Henry.
Better space, isn't there, through the mids. Good timing. Players playing wide on attack and then driving to the centre. We just saw that from Coffin.
The long shot from Tutaia. She's really found her range and her confidence, and the Mystics have jumped out to a 6-goal advantage. The timeout is called.
Are we surprised?
Not at all. Nat Von Berto, surprise, surprise, the co-captain of the Thunderbirds, all that experience. She's going to get a bit of treatment from the trainer, and the Thunderbirds are going to regroup. Dick Fuller, the assistant coach for the Mystics, really driving that message home, and it's quite remarkable, Julie, isn't it, when you look at those names there, Henry, Wilcox, George to Coffin, a remarkable lineup on court for the Mystics.
Yes, we see them all out on court now, don't we? All the former or current Silver Ferns. Of course, there's George, Coffin, former, George current, Wilcox current, Henry current, and Tutaia current as well. And
Latu, who many believe probably in the future, once she has her international stand down, will also be a Silver Fern. Althea Byfield, she is stretching out something else now. There's all sorts going on. She's been grimacing throughout this match, but she keeps on keeping on.
Well, I'm pleased to see that she is keeping on, because she spent a lot of time on the bench last year through injury. So, and you can see her shoulder quite heavily strapped.
Stretching things out, maybe playing a couple of games with her opposite Borrego as well. So it's now with Tutaia.
A great buy for the Mystics. Byfield.
Tutaia misses with the shot, and Mentor now has the chance to bring it back through court for a Thunderbirds outfit. Now they're just struggling to get it through a little.
And that's the thing, the Thunderbirds just got the Mystics off that roll, and then the missed shot comes from Tutaia. It's, you know, the ploy worked, if you like.
And they land one up the other end. The ploy certainly did work. There's a young Leighton. A lot of new young faces that we're seeing in this competition, as well as some of the old returners. It's a real mixture.
So just shifting that momentum with the break. Broke the pass off of the Mystics, and a chance here to score off their own. Bell, high shot.